In this video, we're going to go over offline statistics in SoundCheck. Statistics in a sequence, what we call online, are taken on the same curve, value, or result over multiple runs. Offline statistics instead requires the operator to select which data to process together. Instead of looking at one curve for multiple runs, I could look at 10 curves and get all of my statistics data over those 10 curves. This will allow for data from previous runs to be opened and processed. Using offline statistics, we only output protected data. In addition to the statistics available online, offline also opens up the option to use best worst fit to average and histogram. Best and worst fit to average will allow us to enter the number ranked, and this will output the top n curves that best or worst fit the average. For example, if n equals 5, I will get the top 5 curves that fit the average and the 5 curves that worst fit the average. In the editor, we'll highlight all the data that we're going to take the average of. Output to the memory list will be the curves labeled best fit or worst fit to average 1 through n. A deviation curve for each will also be output to the memory list, which is the difference between the curve and the average. The equation used to get the best and worst fit is here. Histogram is an option that's available only for single value data. We select which axis to apply the statistics on, and then select the bin width. This is the width of the bar plots of the histogram curve and sets the resolution of the counting process. This needs to be greater than 0. When we output the histogram, it counts the number of values in each bin. Histogram and distribution curves are added to the memory list for all values that are selected. Let's jump over to SoundCheck and take a look at using offline statistics. I don't even have a sequence open. All I've done is loaded in the statistics curves that can be found in the data folder included with SoundCheck. To run statistics, I click Offline, Statistics. There's an offline option here. Now, unlike running in a sequence and picking just a single curve that I want to run statistics on, I'll highlight all of the curves that I want to get a max, min, mean, standard deviation, etc. I'll highlight all the fundamentals, click Apply, and now to the memory list, you'll see fundamental with the statistic appended to it. So fundamental, mean, max, min, etc. If I display the max, mean, and min on one graph, we can take a look at what statistics got us. The maximum is in orange, the min's in purple, and the average, mean, is in blue. On the same graph, I can drop on the plus and minus 3 sigma we got from the standard deviation. If we look at the absolute standard deviation, we can see that as well. Remember, all of this data is offline, it's just saved in the memory list. If we wanted to save this out, we need to right-click and save it to disk. I'm going to remove the standard deviation curves from the memory list just to clean it up a little bit, and take a look at best and worst fit to average. I'll highlight the curves that I want to find the best and worst fits, enable best fit to average and worst fit to average, then specify the number ranked I want. By selecting 3, now in the memory list, you'll see I get fundamental curves with their names numbered 1, 2, and 3 for both best fit and worst fit. So I can see that fundamental serial number 8076 was the best fit to the average. If I also drop the mean on, I can see how close this is to the average. Each curve that gets ranked will also output the deviation. Now if I look at curve 8072, which is the worst fit to average, I can see the difference between them. I'll drag on the standard deviation as well, and I can see how much of a difference there is between the best fit deviation and the worst fit deviation. When ranking worst fit to average, this can be helpful because if I know that 8072, 8074, and 8075 are the worst fit to the average, I could highlight these, remove them from the memory list, maybe completely delete them, and only run statistics on the curves that are not the worst fit to the average. We'll open up offline statistics again, select offline, and take a look at the histogram. These need to be taken on values. We're going to use the sensitivity of 1 kHz for all of these curves. I select which axes to use. I want the Y value because I want to know the sensitivity. Now I define the bin width. They're all pretty close, so I don't want a 1 dB difference. Let's instead look at half a dB. When I click Apply, I can see I get 2 new curves to my memory list. First, we'll look at the distribution. If we zoom in a little bit, we can see the overall shape. If I view the histogram on a table, I can see the x values with 0.5 between them and a count for each of the y values. If I display this on a graph, the first thing I want to do to actually make this visible is change the x-axis by right-clicking and switching the mapping mode from logarithmic to linear. I'm also going to increase the precision. I want to make sure that I can see the difference between the x values. Now I'll just change the max and the min value on my graph to zoom in a little bit. We can see the count on the y-axis versus the level on the x-axis. Thanks for watching. If there's any questions or for additional resources, please look at our website or feel free to contact support.